Good day, everyone.
Hey Mark,
Hey.
Bob Bustling here. I am having one of my lead cryptographer slash engineers joining this call, and he'll be taking over from me. I've just
Mhm.
I'm I'm getting pulled in way too many directions.
Okay.
So I feel bad I've not been able to substantially contribute here. Um, so anyway, Alex is joining. I think he's just joined, and I'll let him introduce himself
hmm
to the team here, and I have to figure out how to get him added as the technical contact in the Linux Foundation paperwork. But going forward, he'll be the primary technical contact for this work stream.
Okay. And this is on behalf of which company?
Shielded Technologies.
Shield Technologies. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Alex, I'm going to leave you here. I have three other people who are urgently needing to talk to me.
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Good
Okay.
morning, everyone.
Good morning. Morning.
Hello, hello. All right. So we're going to follow our regular protocol here. I'm going to put the link to meeting minutes in the chat. And I'm just going to give, so please put yourselves down at the on the attendees list. Just add yourselves. So today we're discussing pull requests. I suppose for today's meeting and the next two meetings, we're focusing explicitly and solely on our informational draft. In the meantime, I'm going to be at the Attestation SIG meeting today, which I encourage all members of the group to attend because there's so much of workload identity work is going to be done in the Attestation SIG. And I will again press them on ensuring that we have clean integration patterns with identity providers between verifier and identity providers, etc. I also attend meetings of Spiffy, which is every couple of weeks on Thursdays. And last time I spoke with them and basically reiterated how important it is for us to close the architectural hole that's also present in Spiffy, of not trusting the platform to attest workload. And for that, the closest thing they have right now, the workload API they have doesn't work. It's going to be the new thing that they're thinking about called the broker API. And again, Spiffy is open source. Those meetings are open to all. And we could definitely throw some horsepower and intellectual horsepower into that problem to make sure it's addressed. I suspect that if we let them go, just go at their own pace, our needs are not going to be met, although they've been very, very friendly. And again, I'm in communications with Peter Castleman, who's Spiffy's director of product, and he seems certainly accepting of our requirements, so long as they don't drive away customers. Okay, so Yogesh and Hank, which I'm not seeing just yet, but Hank put in another pull request, I believe, on on the informational draft on the pull request, and I couldn't help noticing that it might conflict quite badly with pull request number 12, although I really like the content of his sort of re-engineering of the informational draft in 14. I don't know about you guys, I find GitHub a suboptimal mechanism for doing reviews of documents. It may work really well for code, but I do not know about documents. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to find my window where the GitHub pull request. Oh, there we go.
If you're struggling, I can help you share my screen.
I was, but I don't think I'm struggling any longer.
Okay, that's good. Then it's good.
All right. So let's see. I'm gonna share this screen right here.
I've been reviewing today morning your pull request 12. It's coming quite nice. I must admit it's coming quite nicely. There's some work to be done still, but
I agree. All right, so here's 12. Actually, I want to go back to fourth, back to front. And I want to get basically 12 in, so then we can focus on 14 and maybe I fix some whatever merge conflicts we get. So, Yogesh, we're going to start with your comment here at the bottom. You're talking about practical real-world use cases. So, let's say this. Let's resolve this thread right now. And if after 12 and 14 you still don't feel that we have good real-world use cases, file an issue and we'll do a pull request around that.
yeah, I think there is already somebody has created an issue which I later tagged on my comment. If you go at the issue list, there is already use case is not right or something like that in the issue tracker. So yeah, there is an issue already. We just need to address that. Yeah.
All right. So again, we're just gonna go. I want to get all the low-hanging fruit so we can focus on the big fish. So
100%.
here
Yeah.
you're talking token replay. Not all credentials are tokens, but then X509 cannot really be replayed, strictly speaking. Like you need for that you need a key. But then if the key leaks, like I basically say, without data and use protection, your certificates are just bearer tokens, and it's kind of I used to say that for years. That was always kind of an unpopular take, but can we just go and change that to credential replay?
Yeah, and that would satisfy my requirement. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I'm just trying to figure out how do I change that.
I can help. I mean, it's easy. Yeah, just just click on that 87 next to line 87. There's a plus. Try to click on the 87. See, try to click
it
on.
doesn't do anything.
Okay. Let me help. Line 87.
Why doesn't it just allow me in place
Yeah,
editing?
you should be able to do it. If I hover on the plus next to 87, I can.
I think you should change the tab you're in because you're viewing comments a stream.
Yeah.
If you
You
go
should
to
check
the
the
files
view. Yeah. Go up.
Where
Go to the files
do I go?
change.
Files changed.
Files change tab. You are on the conversation tab, Mark. Just go down on that. Yeah. Commits,
Files
checks.
changed.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Well spotted. I realized. Yeah.
Files changed.
Go to line 87 now.
All right. Sounds good. Can I?
Go to line. Yeah. Now click on that plus minus tab. Click on the plus minus tab on after plus. You click first on the 8 plus. Now you see the preview next to that. Next to preview. Yeah. Just next to that. Okay. Go to right. Okay. Go to right again. Right tab. No, preview.
The right
You are on
tab
preview.
was the right tab.
Yes,
so you don't
correct
go
tab.
to preview, but on the right tab, there's this plus minus document thingy, which is a suggestion icon.
Yeah.
Very left, one of all the
Very
icons.
left. The first one on the left.
Right next to preview.
Oh, this guy.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
this
one.
guy.
Yeah, now if you
Exactly.
click that, you can change something suggested.
Yeah.
And add a review comment, and that can be an acceptable change, suggested change.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can I? But I can now. I cannot do commit suggestions because it's a pending.
That's your policy. You need someone else to do that, I guess. That someone set this up with the policy thing. I tried to push something to main, and it was stubborn and didn't let me. So this policy, yeah, I can do that.
All right, sounds good. Let's see. So, where do we have other comments here? Should I go back to the comments? Conversation. Okay, going back to conversation. See, this is just not a good experience. Like I should be able to go change things right in place. This makes no sense. Okay. Again, apologize for my GitHub lack of skill there. Just trying to figure out. Okay. So this is again, Yogesh. Earlier we said that we're not going to use any qualifiers with verifier because we wanted to go in line with RATs, and that's just verifier. So we're not going to say verifier service or attestation verifier. That's what I thought we decided. Should we go? How do you feel about saying attestation verifier here?
Yeah, or just RATs, because you don't know what verification means. It could be the certificate checking, you know.
Okay. So what should I do? Do you want to commit the suggestion or not?
I don't like the term attestation verifier. It's uncommon. It's a RATs verifier or a verifier.
Okay, whatever. Verifiers can be a very generic thing. So I wanted to be explicit that we are verifying attestation. But
well,
whatever
verifier is because in reference to RATs. So I think we'll just stick to verifier. So
okay,
can I delete this comment then?
Yeah, you can delete it. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to resolve this one. All right. So we're going to just move real quick to the interesting stuff. I just said resolve conversation. Why don't you? It doesn't close. Okay. Why doesn't it say it gives me an option but doesn't set resolve? Okay, fine. So here, yeah, I suggested that we just say meeting verifier policies rather than required security guarantees because that's more explicit. What we want to do is the T, so yes, it needs to run on the T, and also verifier needs to be happy. So I guess asking for permission to commit this suggestion.
Yeah, if O3 is the current Vimsy, that's fine. That's a editorial change. And meeting verifier policies, I guess there's no harm.
Yeah, we should not link the HTTPS here. I think that's not right. So I just added a Vimsy reference, which takes us to the latest of the architecture, actually.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll have a chance.
I made a note out of it. Yeah.
We'll have a chance to. We will have an opportunity to change that as a separate PR because I just want to basically get these changes in right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so somebody else needs to commit the suggestion for me. You can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, surprisingly, I don't see that here. I'm a little confused.
I surprisingly also don't, which is
I'm a little confused.
I don't know why.
You are able to commit few suggestions.
It's pending, so I think you need to finish your review. You started the review, adding comments.
Oh.
And it gave you an option to either file them one by one, or you are now in this mode where you're batch adding. And I think at the top somewhere, Mark, you should
very top. Yes. And files changed again.
Yeah, in the files changed, I think, yes, as well.
Yeah. At the very top, there is this commit review thing. Yeah, exactly. You have this review changes now, and
now we have to do submit, because otherwise all those 9 comments you've added actually are not visible to anybody but you.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just hit the submit review or add some text. Yeah, exactly. And now it's become visible, and probably that was the reason why you couldn't commit, because it was a batch. And I still can't see it yet. Smashing F5.
All right, so we're going back to
there we go.
Now we're in conversation again, right?
Yeah, but I, for example,
so now I can
4
commit
minutes
suggestion.
ago.
Hooray!
Exactly.
Finally.
Yeah.
All right. So did that. Let's see here. Now it's refreshing on me. Wait, what is it doing now?
Arguably, but of course it's down to individual preference, but I would say you're going to get a better experience if you review in the files change tab, because this is just a stream of conversation. It's trying to do multiple things, including kicking off build processes.
But I can't see the comments in files changed.
No, they are there. You just have to navigate.
They are there. Yeah. And some of them are resolved automatically, so it's in the results. So
it's an easier one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now here, if we are all happy, first we need to approve this, because if you don't approve it, you will not be probably able to merge it, because we are reviewers, you are the author, Mark. So
see, I don't see any comments here at all. Oh, maybe a little bit.
See, you can see the comments.
So here.
See all of them.
Can I? Okay, it was. Can I just delete this comment because we're not changing anything?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I just want to.
You can also resolve a comment, but yeah, whatever.
No,
Delete
there was no
also
option
fine.
in this
There
one,
was no
surprisingly.
option.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Okay. Yeah, maybe if you need a comment and then a
All right,
comment,
so let's
comment
go take a look at this. This is one of the less low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how you want to proceed, but I would say maybe let's just do an issue. I mean, I do have a bit of a dissenting opinion with adding the HSM word into there. I think you've now removed that. So I think as I'm just glancing over, I think would be fine. But the whole
No, I
concept
did
of
say in
adding,
HSM. See, this is
where is it?
a key
Oh,
for
okay.
a width
Yeah.
or external that could be obtained from an HSM continuous customer remote attestation. Well, the statement is true. Whether you want it included in the draft or not, that's a different issue.
Well, is it true though? I mean, when you
Yes.
say HSM attestation, it's implying either of two things. So if you say you are attesting an HSM, that means you as the workload are externalizing your storage. And then the storage itself is not authenticating yourself. So your security claims become much weaker because you are now, just let me finish, please. You are now in the mode where whoever has the access token to an HSM is able to impersonate your workload.
That's exactly what's going on today. In fact,
Well,
this is why I want workload identity for credentials for workloads to be able to generate and certify their own credentials. Because today, and I'm pretty sure the way things work in confidential computing, which pisses me off, by the way, is that somebody puts a key into a credential store like an HSM and puts a policy around it. And then if your verifier gives you attestation results the HSM likes, it will release the secret, and then that secret is then used to go decrypt some data. And you are absolutely correct. I don't have to be running in a T. All I need to do is match the verifier, the HSM policy for key release.
That's right. And that's why I'm not saying this is not a physical real world example, it is. I am, however, a bit concerned putting it up front here because it's accepting the imperfectness of the reality. I get that. But I don't think we should lead with that at the very instance of, this early draft, especially as there are options. Like you could technically have an HSM attest you in the reverse direction. HSMs, some of them are capable of running code. So I just don't want to deprive ourselves of an option. This is kind of a surrender-ish statement, and I don't want to resort to that early on in the discussion.
Okay. I suggest we handle that as a separate issue because I don't want to hold up this PR. Hank,
yeah,
you have your hand up.
Yeah, so just as a quick reminder, an HSM is also a 19-inch top-of-the-rack unit that people say, trust us, and then suddenly it's the root of all certificates for a CA. So if you say HSM, it's good for now, I want to say. This change is good for now, but we later on must clarify what we mean with that. And we probably do not mean the 19-inch CA/registration authority HSM. That's also called an HSM.
Actually, in my mind, it is. So I can tell you that in Azure, we had HSMs with very stringent ceremonies around accessing them, sitting in physical cages from like major customers like Bank of America. And I will also say that for real world, if I'm going to have a number of pods under Kubernetes share a workload credential, each one of those pods is not going to generate its own keys. They're actually going to get them out of an HSM. And an HSM is like a CA and like a verifier. They are your roots of trust. So our goal has to be
this is more text then. Just to give the reader the understanding. That's all I'm saying. But it's fine.
So this is imperfect. I don't necessarily like it as a security purist, but as someone who wants the technology to succeed, it needs to serve the largest number of customers in the largest number of scenarios. And the trade-offs are for the customer to decide. We're just providing guidance. So again, let's handle this as a separate issue. The wording around it, etc. I trust one of you guys to file a good issue on this. I think we're philosophically in agreement, but it's just I want to get this PR in and
you can
move
actually,
on.
Before you resolve, I think there is, if you follow this ... next to the comment, I think it is able to create issue out of that. It would be easier for the linkage.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Reference a new issue.
Third from the top.
Yeah, and just file it and we'll refine it later on.
All right, sounds good. Done. And can I now go back? I need to go back. I'll be a GitHub expert by the end of this. All right.
Yes.
Definitely.
You can teach us then. Yes, you can teach us then. Yeah.
Where am I here? Resolve conversation. All right. So this is resolved now with an issue. Okay, going up. So somebody suggested, Mateusz, it was you. You wanted issue number 4. Workload credential issuance can be audited by an external party for the entirety of the life cycle. And I claim that it's handled by number 3. How do you feel about that? It's just the thing is, because there is this the theme of 1, 2, 3 throughout.
The only reason I added it, just to kind of explain myself, was to double down on the concept that we also need a post-mortem kind of a way of auditing that, which is going to set some choices in certain scenarios. If the consensus here is, everybody is claiming it's included here, I'm fine with not adding. At the same time, I claim it's, distinct enough, because this is not how you naturally think about this. I mean, some do, some don't. So
okay,
a word of clarification, I guess, wouldn't hurt. Maybe under 3 as a sub bullet, maybe not a
Yeah, I was thinking we can modify 3 to add what he's saying.
Yeah. Which tab are we on? Where files changed? So
no, it's correct actually. You were on the right place. So if you
I need to go to this.
Yes.
So I can say the credential issuer. Back to the workload province, and I do not know if it needs to be sent back to credential issuer, because that's the credential is signed by the issuer. So what I would say here is can be traced back to workload provenance either at runtime or for purposes of an audit or for a later audit. Something like that.
Good with that.
Can we do that? Any objections?
No objections, no.
All right. We got that. So now I can resolve this conversation. All right, next. Wait, that's already done, right? That's handled. Yeah, we just did that.
That's the comment to you, yeah.
Why it's not showing my commit there? Oh, it wouldn't let me commit the suggestion.
Let me check if I can do this. What is it? 191? 119.
119.
Yeah, let me check. Interesting. Is it an outdated change? No.
It's not.
I can see it, but I can also not do it. But I can remember what you try to do, and I do it myself. So what did you do? After provenance, you added this.
Oh, now it's letting me commit suggestion.
Okay, then I don't have to.
Except
maybe it was building something. Yeah.
It's not. This suggestion should have been applied or marked resolved. Unresolved conversation. And now I can commit.
I see, because it's part of the, I see.
Mark is navigating all different types of use cases and becoming a GitHub expert now.
Yeah, yes, quick action. So like resolve, and that is management capability. So
okay, we're getting progressively more interesting issues here. So let's continue.
I think there's not much left.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. In terms of the comments, not much left.
Okay.
You can't approve your own PR, so we need to approve. I have already approved it. I would request other reviewers to approve this as well so that we can make progress. There are two more reviewers. I think Henk is one of them. And
okay, well, then following the call to duty. Of course, this yes, I am actually. Then I can do this.
Finish your review. I'll just say completed review. That's my comment. Now I can say submit review.
Henk is one of them, and I think Moritz is one of them.
Okay, so as soon as everybody completes, we'll merge it, and then we'll go on to Yogesh's 14.
Is an issue. So I approved it. It doesn't show, but I did.
I'm just trying to see if at what point it's going to let me allow the pull request to be merged.
I think
you should be
waiting for the build or something.
No,
yeah, it must be waiting for the build.
I'm able to merge it.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
You should also be. Okay,
no, go ahead.
Done.
All right. Sweet. Now let's go to 14. Thank you guys for working so quickly together. It's changed.
Yeah, so this is of course now outdated to some extent because we changed the underlying base.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of merge.
Yeah, I can deal with that relatively quickly. So there are a few things. I deleted a whole paragraph. I think that is the most important thing I did.
Shorter is better.
Yeah, something was like, I don't even know why I am reading this. I was just removing it. I think it was line 6. No, let me have a look where that was happening. The diffs of GitHub are not super helpful sometimes.
I need to understand some of that syntax. Like here you use hashtag workload provenance, and here you use credential issuance and triple.
Yeah, I don't know what the triple things mean. This is not from me. I did not add that.
If we're going to reference defined terms, then we should be using something like that.
And the triple parents are doing indexing. So if you then scroll down to the very last entry in the page, when it renders as HTML, this is going to be cross-referenced as an indexed entry.
Oh, and I was looking at the index, and there was something weird at the bottom that I couldn't really understand in the HTML. I was like, well, why is this here?
Delete that if that's confusing you.
I have a comment.
Because there's no context. Yeah.
I have a substantial comment on 218. My comment is this. So who was it that I talked to? It might have been you, Hank. So Whimsy has a narrowly defined scope, and that is the usage of credential. Okay, it doesn't deal with the issuance of credential. So, for instance, provenance, and for instance, you're relying party, you receive credential, there is provenance, and now you need to be able to make a decision on the authorization decision based on provenance. That's in the Whimsy scope because that happens post-credential issuance. Whereas the what you're talking about here, transparency log and the maintenance of provenance, that is probably something that needs to go into the RATS working group or some other working group that deals specifically with credential issuance. And we need to find who these people are. And these are all good considerations, but this is not for the Whimsy informational draft because they don't deal with this stuff.
Sure, makes sense to me. It sounds like, so I wouldn't say transparency log. So I think it was done in a collaborative work, but yeah. In general, I agree that if Whimsy doesn't deal with issuance of certificates, which might be a gap.
Well, we will need to figure out who owns it. I know it's not Whimsy.
I see.
Right. And right. So we, for instance, we may want to deal with credential issuance in the attestation SIG, or we'll need to find a IETF working group that deals with credential issuance and work with them like we work with Whimsy. But this is that is simply going to be a red herring, and it's going to cause distraction. So I don't think we should be talking about that here. And maybe we can create an issue for this in the TWI reference architecture. So different GitHub.
This is the TWI reference architecture, right?
This is not. This is TWI Whimsy.
If you move up to the very top of this page, please, and scroll, you see draft TWI reference architecture.md. So if this not a reference architecture, it has
We'll need to rename this. We'll need to rename this document.
Okay,
this is an informational draft for Whimsy.
And okay, sorry for that. Then I was reading. I was taking it
perfectly fine. I was wondering, can I? When I say edit file, can I rename?
And also the title in the document also is different. So is in line 2. Then
okay, so we'll.
Mark, you're better off finding an issue for it, because I think the whole machinery was built around this name, like the builders and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's gonna mess things up.
It's going to mess up things seriously badly. It's hard to.
Right, we won't do that here. So okay, files changed.
So what is the new name for the document then?
So will be
suggested in the issue maybe.
I would say something like trustworthy workload identity for Whimsy.
Okay. Suggest a better name in the issue. Create an issue. Suggest
Yeah, we can make an issue and have a selection until next week that manifests in PR.
Sounds good. So let's see. I added SAS here. I did a commit. I added SAS to the list of things that customers need to do. I also need to change. I'm just going to remove I from exploring I. All right. All right. So let's see. How do you guys want to go about this? Like basically read this line by line or focus on particular areas?
Yeah, we can go by green block, I think.
Okay, let's do that.
So for example, the green block here, I obviously this mega sentence, I just itemized it, right? So and then added some frosting for the final statements here that were like I'm not gonna say an afterthought, but basically this is more readable because it was such a long list, and that's just editorial, I think.
Should we say extended or amended?
Yeah, I was still writing this under the assumption this is the reference architecture. So let me really check. The current architecture should be amended. Yeah, amended sounds less harmful. A remedy, amending.
Yeah, amended sounds like a remedy rather than extended. Well, extended is also technically not incorrect. They need to extend the architecture to support our use cases, right? But
yeah, but maybe some fundamental things have to be healed. I don't know. Amended is fine for me.
Okay, we can always change that later. So,
are you going?
All right. So the second paragraph.
is it data in use protections or data in use protection?
I would
on line
also
57?
change. I would also change something. It's not just the public cloud that we're worried about. I would add to this computing in the public clouds and high-risk locations. And not actual and perceived, but simply risks. So what I would change here in public clouds and high risk locations. Because some of it is IoT. Like you deploy sensors out in the field and you don't want them messed with, right? It's not even necessarily a cloud. Are you okay with me making that change?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
I think this is a minuscule change.
Well, it's actually important from.
Yeah, but the meaning doesn't go away. You're just being more precise, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's
line
a
57, Mark and Henk, I have a question on line 57. Is it data in use protections or data in use protection?
I assume they have multiple. I wasn't plural is fine with me because I will never expect there's not just one measure.
It's a combination. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything from like physical security. It could be a number of things.
And then the next sentence, you are using protection rather than protections. Is it correct on 57 second sentence? Check that. Yeah.
Where 57? No.
Yeah. First is yes, 57 line sentence 2.
They use protect. Okay, fine. Let's change use protection.
There's also a singular at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. What am I doing? All right.
Stop. Yeah.
Comment. Okay. All right. So let's see. Increased push to harmonized management governs human identities and strong assurance around the security of deployed workloads for regulatory contractual peace of mind reasons. I try to capitalize all the terms of art, which workload is. I don't know how you feel about it here.
There's a terminology section above. Everything that's in there should be capitalized as such. Everything else, we might have to consider pulling up there or just write normally.
That's fine. Okay.
And also, it's a man who had his hand up just really quick and tried to say something, I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the list. We see the use case that's super important, which is software agents that not only have their own credentials, but also handle the credentials of other entities, because those software agents are acting on behalf of another entity. And so that adds another layer of credentials that needs to be isolated from not only the CSP, but also, for instance, JP Morgan, the service provider that would be operating things. So I'd like to add that to the 5 items that are there, because it's another layer of credentials that will need to be considered.
May we instead, so these are sort of types of computations we do. Okay, this has nothing to do with credential handling. We're basically saying here, but what I would do is between these 2 paragraphs, this plus and this plus, we could say that workloads are entrusted with so we're already talking about harmonizing management of human and non-human, etc. So here I would add a statement basically saying workloads may handle multiple credential instances, some belonging to the workloads and others belonging to entities that they're delegated to them.
That's fine with me. I think I think the word agent should be in there somewhere, because it's really when a workload is not only representing itself to other workloads, but when a workload is acting on behalf of something else. So whether it's a agentic computation in the list of the 5 items there, or in the paragraph 65, I'm fine with that.
But yeah, I would put it here. I would definitely put it here.
Sounds good.
So I would put it here. Modern workloads may operate with credentials.
By the way, could you please add a new line between the sentences? Just so you know, it's not going to render as a new line. It's a markdown, but it's going to be, easier to review in the future.
Excellent comment. So after we have pulled all PRs and have a tiny window of clean slate, I will do an editorial pass and make every line, every sentence a line to better review it in GitHub.
Yeah. So how do you like the sentence? We'll actually,
going
before the end of the meeting, we'll talk about the precise schedule between now and when this draft gets submitted. So we know exactly what remains. So are you okay with the sentence I just added?
The two agents they are asked to impersonate feels weird to me. It's more like as agents. A workload may operate as an agent on behalf of another entity or something like that. Because two agents, I don't see how a workload operates two agents that are asked. And then impersonate this. Yeah. It's not the goal. We're not trying to impersonate something else. The agent is actually acting on behalf of another entity, and that entity delegated its credentials to that agent.
All right. So tell me what you want to say. Modern workloads may operate.
The first half is fine, and then the second half is as agents and as agents on behalf of
I cannot say with both credentials and as agents may operate on their own behalf.
Yes, yeah, or with their own credentials, on their own behalf. Or on behalf of other entities with their delegated credentials.
Of other entities. Or as agents.
Yes, that's right. Or as agents on behalf of other entities with their delegated.
With delegated credentials.
With delegated credentials, yes. Thanks.
All right, sounds great. Shit. Oh. Okay, can I commit the suggestion now?
Yes. Right. And again, this breaking of sentences into lines we can do along the way, but we have to do a thorough pass for that.
Yeah. That's perfectly fine. All right. So, this is a comment I want you to consider. So we talk about provenance in 3 as written, but none of the 1, 2, 3, and I think Whimsy needs to hear this, talks about the fact that attestation in Whimsy is weak. So we talk about lack of workload isolation, we talk about lack of strong binding, but we never actually talked about the fact that we need really strong attestation. And I think this can be actually part of 3, the provenance discussion, where we can basically say, look, this is where I suggest we say lack of certainty about the composition of the workload. So what I would change here is this.
What is the reason for this lack of certainty about composition of the workload?
The fact that there is no strong remote attestation in Whimsy.
But okay, the composition is different than attestation. Composition means generating SBOMs or
certainty about the composition of the workload. That's something the verifier can ascertain.
Okay, so lack of verifiability of the composition. Is that what you're trying to say? You can't verify the composition. Is that what you're trying to say?
I guess so. But I'm just saying lack of certainty. We don't know what the hell you're made of. But okay, we can say it some other word, some verifiable composition.
Yes, lack of verifiable composition is a better term. Yeah. Yeah, that makes it more clear.
All right, is that good?
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Any other thoughts?
I love it.
All right. And this is something that perhaps would make its way back into the reference architecture as well, just to strengthen the fact that we really care about this, not just isolation, not just binding, but also verifiable composition. It's so obvious to people working on confidential computing, but it needs to be communicated to people outside. So that becomes our number 3. All right. Okay, this is something that I wanted to mention. Hold on, we're still going paragraph by paragraph. Yeah, all right, let's go here. So we're through, let's do with 74 now. Okay, we already said that. That's fine. 76?
Yeah, so this is just a breakup into 2 paragraphs, and I think I added examples. The first paragraph is a new 74.
Yeah. I like fewer words. That's good.
Yeah, I guess so. So sometimes I remove stuff, so because I was not sure. Again, even if the reference architecture context, it was just superfluous text, I assume. But I added examples. So I think that the unique features, and this is the isolation capabilities here in the new 9676, and the broad availability, which is supported by various major hardware vendors. I think that was worth repeating, because otherwise,
should we add verifiable composition?
Yeah. Sure.
Instead of isolation capability, can we just say workload isolation or strong workload isolation?
Strong,
yeah, I think strong workload isolation looks good,
yeah.
good to me. Yeah.
More specific, I think.
And there's not just various. I think they're all major hardware vendors at this point.
Yeah, I was always very careful with all and this absolutes. But yeah,
well, I mean, name one who doesn't.
I don't know. Texas Instruments. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would also add, so there's 2 items in that sentence, right? There's the vital unique features. Then there's, I mean, I'm thinking we should add regulations that are coming in that overall paragraphs or sentence, that there's 3 things that are really, not only is it, I don't know, I'm lost in the, can you go back, scroll up a little bit, Mark? It was, no, longer term, confidential, unique feature, and broad ability. Yeah, anyway, so it doesn't fit in the sentence. Maybe we put it somewhere else. But I think reminding it's becoming available. It is dramatically better, and there's regulation that are coming at us, across all industries.
So we can say multiple emerging regulations are likely to or will mean that customers will be looking to these features and capabilities to satisfy them. And we can always do an editorial pass later if we decide on different wording.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Is verifiable composition like a sort of capital V, capital C, or are we just sort of introducing it in this paragraph as a term? Because I don't. It sounds cool. It's a cool term, but maybe
we haven't gotten to terminology yet. But we might as well just add it at some point. Yes.
Yeah, because it has that feeling like somebody could just do a quick search on it or something to see what the author actually means.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's not mentioned as a term of art just yet.
So maybe just the typical thing. The first time you use it, maybe clarify exactly, sort of, or maybe not in that length, but maybe briefly.
As we go through comments, very much so, we can add that. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So confidential computing assist mechanisms have to align with the emerging workload identity solution ecosystem. Correspondingly, the evolution of the workload identity ecosystem should remain in alignment with the expectations of the owners and operators of their workloads to address this bilateral balance of requirements. Document defines elaborates, so we'll need to go change that a little bit. It seems a little winded, honestly, this sentence.
I don't think I changed the sentence at all. I think I just cut it off the first half.
I don't recall reading it.
I think I added the acronym TWI here.
It's not bilateral. Is it is it bilateral or is it bidirectional?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I added the bilateral. That's me.
Or maybe just, I do not know if this is a necessary word.
Yeah, maybe it's a superfluous term. Maybe the balance implies two
or just
parties.
Set of requirements. Like, I don't. How about this?
Yeah, easier is better.
Defines and elaborates.
To quote one of our ADs, less is better.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to use this opportunity to split the lines. We have 8 minutes left. We may not get through all of it, which we need to do the rest in an offline review, but we still need to get to the schedule. So let's give it 3 more minutes.
I will have to rebase it in any case to the other merge, and I will take that on this week.
All right. So, okay. Oh, we have a lot here. Okay.
So, for example, there's maybe we start where we just left off. This is just lines. If we move up a little bit. Yeah, this is more interesting. And so, yeah, for terminology section above, I changed the style. So I also inadvertently, and I'm sorry about this, removed the parentheses, the triple parentheses items, and just made it a dictionary. A certain cram down to make it a dictionary. You start with, for example, line green 100, workload identifier colon, and then you do an empty line, and then the new 102 is like starting with the colon and then gives the definition. So workload identifier, a stable value construct of super and so on. And then I created that style. But inadvertently, because I was not exactly knowing what it does, to be honest, I removed the index items, which are the 3 parentheses. We can re-add them after we polish this PR. For example, this 3 parentheses item is in the red 83, workload identity, and then there is parentheses, 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 workload identity. And that had more meaning than I thought.
But you already said that on 106 green. You said that.
Yes. Again, there's 3 parentheses items for all these items. I removed them, and I might have to talk with coordinate to get them back in.
That's fine. Okay, so before we break, we'll probably need to finish this offline or in the next meeting next week. Our remaining schedule. So I think our self-imposed deadline to get this draft submitted was June 19th. So June 19th is, so we'll have 2 more meetings, the 10th and the 17th. Right? So I would say that the bulk of the work must be completed by the end of this meeting next week. Which would then leave us a week for editorial. Right.
Let me check. June 19th. We have so the deadline for submission is 7th. June 19th already is a early goal, and then we have at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, but there's a 4th of July in there.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
There's a long weekend. Okay, yeah. So yes, we can definitely. You know, if somehow we run late, that's good to have that buffer. But how about we aim to still commit by 19th if we can?
Okay.
Because also, I want this done so we can move on to greener pastures. We have lots and lots of big rocks. So to wrap up, attestation SIG meetings are very, very important to members of this team. And sometimes they go long-winded, and sometimes they get into weeds. And it's also maybe important for us to join those calls to keep them on track. So I'm definitely attending today's meeting to see what's going on. And
please do.
We have a very
lot of
clear.
TCP folks can't. Today,
yeah, we have a very clear agenda for attestation SIG, like our requirements to be met there in a number of cases, and governance. So Miras Spina, who hasn't been in these calls for a while, but I believe submitted. Let me take a look under issues. Yeah, this one. Proposed for workload machine identity assurance levels. I think needs to get into the governance SIG. Because assurance proofing, all of that, that's more of a governance thing. But do take a look at these documents and see if you have any comments. MITRE alignment for governance is going to be pretty important. So, and Mira works in governance in MITRE. So take a look. And what are the issues we have here? Use cases in the ITF, IDC, more like requirements. Okay, so we'll.
Yeah, this is the use case issue which I mentioned.
Yeah,
and
and
we need use cases are different. Mark, in the ITF, you would normally use some real world use cases which people connect to the problem. That the idea is to people connect to the problem.
So maybe try and pull request on that specifically.
Yeah.
All right. Good meeting today. Thank you all. And please continue reviewing PR14. Let's get, again, let's try and get to the final version by the end of the meeting next week. So we can, and again, there is buffer, but let's not abuse it. Sounds good?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank you all. I'll see you soon.
See you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.